How other people talk in English. Leo often felt a silent frustration, observing others converse effortlessly. He yearned to join global discussions, but English remained a formidable barrier. The thought of expressing himself fluently seemed a distant dream, shrouded in layers of uncertainty and doubt. He watched intently, wishing for a breakthrough. He'd spend hours online, observing how other people talk in English, fascinated by their casual ease. Their spontaneous laughter, their rapid-fire exchanges, all felt alien. He wondered about the unspoken rules, the subtle nuances, the very fabric of their confident communication styles. It was a deep mystery. He knew he needed more than just sporadic attempts. A structured English study plan for talking was essential. His efforts felt uncoordinated, lacking direction. He craved a clear pathway, a step-by-step guide that would demystify the learning process and build genuine momentum. The fear of making mistakes paralyzed him. Every potential conversation felt like a high-stakes exam. He'd rehearse sentences internally, only to falter when the moment arose. This internal struggle was far more challenging than any grammatical rule, holding him firmly captive. One serendipitous evening, he discovered an online forum dedicated to language exchange. People from all corners of the world shared their varied linguistic journeys. It was a vibrant, encouraging space, offering a glimpse into real-world communication and diverse perspectives. This discovery sparked new hope. He started by simply observing, immersing himself. Listen English, he resolved, would be his first unwavering command. He tuned into podcasts, watched interviews, absorbing the rhythms, the inflections, the natural flow of spoken words without judgment, just pure assimilation. He noticed how speakers emphasized certain words, how their voices rose and fell. Understanding intonation patterns became a subconscious exercise. This active listening phase was crucial, laying a foundational groundwork for future pronunciation accuracy and natural conversational rhythm. He was absorbing soundscapes. The realization dawned that perfect grammar wasn't the initial goal. It was about comprehending meaning through context, understanding the natural ebb and flow of dialogue. He focused on grasping the gist, the overall message, rather than dissecting every single word meticulously. Then came the daunting question, how to take first step for talking. His heart pounded at the mere thought. The transition from passive listening to active speaking felt like leaping into an unknown abyss, fraught with potential embarrassment and awkwardness. He started small, whispering to himself in his room. Describing objects, narrating his daily routine silently, then aloud. These private practice sessions built a tiny reservoir of courage. It felt awkward initially, but a necessary ritual for breaking the silence. He began mimicking sentences from native speakers, a process he called listen and practice. He'd play a phrase, then repeat it, striving for accurate pronunciation and cadence. This repetitive drilling might seem simple, but it was incredibly effective for muscle memory. He recorded his voice, a brave but often cringe-worthy act. Comparing his attempts to the original audio, he pinpointed areas for improvement, a mispronounced vowel, an incorrect stress. This honest self-assessment was uncomfortable yet indispensable for refining his speech. How to learn words presented another significant hurdle. Rote memorization often led to quick forgetting. He needed a method that made vocabulary stick, integrating new words into his active lexicon rather than a temporary list. He sought a more organic way. He abandoned endless flashcard drills. Instead, he focused on encountering words in authentic contexts. Reading articles, watching shows, and listening to conversations helped him grasp nuances of usage. This method proved far more engaging and memorable than isolated definitions. He discovered that learning words embedded within stories or anecdotes made them resonate deeper. A word wasn't just a definition, it carried emotional weight, cultural baggage. This contextual learning fostered a richer, more profound understanding of the language's texture. A small, dedicated notebook became his trusted companion. He meticulously jotted down new vocabulary, always including an example sentence where the word naturally appeared. This active engagement reinforced memory and ensured practical application of new terms learned. He explored various mobile applications designed for vocabulary expansion. Gamified learning and spaced repetition algorithms transformed a mundane task into an enjoyable challenge. These digital tools supplemented his contextual learning, making it more efficient and diverse. He also focused on common prefixes, suffixes, and root words. This foundational knowledge enabled him to decipher the meaning of unfamiliar words, even without a dictionary. It was like learning a secret code, unlocking countless linguistic mysteries effortlessly. English story reading emerged as his favorite and most enriching activity. He realized stories offered a holistic language experience, combining vocabulary, grammar, and cultural insight within captivating narratives. It was learning disguised as pure entertainment. He started with simple, graded readers, designed for learners. The accessible language and engaging plots built his confidence. Each completed book felt like a small victory, pushing him gently towards more complex literary adventures. His reading journey began. Gradually, he ventured into short stories, then full-length novels. Each genre exposed him to different writing styles, expanding his linguistic horizons. The characters, the plots, the settings, all contributed to a vivid, immersive learning environment for him. He often read passages aloud, not just for comprehension but for pronunciation practice. Hearing his own voice articulate the words, feeling the rhythm, further solidified his connection to the language. It transformed reading into an active, auditory exercise. The stories provided a rich tapestry of cultural context and idiomatic expressions. He learned not just what words meant, but how they were used in specific social situations. This nuance was invaluable for truly understanding English, beyond mere definitions. He quickly understood why you should practice speaking. The theoretical knowledge gathered from listening and reading needed practical application. Hesitation, he realized, only prolonged the learning curve. Speaking was the bridge from understanding to true fluency. The fear of making mistakes slowly receded. He learned that errors were not failures but essential stepping stones. Each misstep provided valuable feedback, highlighting areas needing more attention. This mindset shift was profoundly liberating for his progress. Speaking was like building a new muscle. The more he exercised his tongue, his vocal cords, his brain's linguistic pathways, the stronger and more agile they became. This consistent, physical practice was transforming his ability daily. His spoken English, initially hesitant and choppy, began to flow more smoothly. He could string together thoughts without long pauses, expressing himself with increasing spontaneity. The words were finding their way out, less forced, more natural. He bravely joined online conversation groups, trembling slightly before his first call. Initially, he primarily listened, observing the dynamics, gathering courage. The anonymous nature of the online world made the initial step slightly less intimidating. Then, one evening, he mustered the courage to contribute a few simple sentences. His voice quivered, but he spoke. The immediate, encouraging responses from the group were incredibly validating, a huge confidence boost he desperately needed. The supportive environment fostered a sense of psychological safety. People corrected him gently, offered alternatives, and patiently waited for him to articulate his thoughts. This non-judgmental atmosphere was paramount for overcoming his deep-seated anxieties. How to talk in English gradually ceased to be a terrifying mystery. He understood it wasn't about perfection, but about effective communication. The goal was connection, not flawless grammar, making the process feel less overwhelming and more accessible. He learned to embrace every single error as a unique learning opportunity. Each stumble provided insight into areas needing more practice, propelling him forward. Mistakes were his personal teachers, guiding him toward greater accuracy and fluency. Persistence was undoubtedly the unwritten rule. There were days of frustration, moments of self-doubt. But he pushed through, remembering his initial aspirations. Each small effort compounded, leading to remarkable, noticeable progress over time. He celebrated every tiny victory, understanding a joke, successfully asking for directions, expressing a complex idea. These small triumphs fueled his motivation, reinforcing the belief that his dedication was yielding tangible results. Each step was a win. As his fluency grew, he began to discern subtle nuances in how other people talk in English. He noticed regional accents, variations in slang, and even the cultural implications behind certain phrases, enriching his linguistic perception immensely. He appreciated the diverse ways English was spoken globally, each with its unique charm. This broadened perspective made him a more empathetic and understanding communicator, capable of adapting his style to different conversational partners and contexts. His English study plane for talking continuously evolved. It transformed from a rigid checklist of grammar rules into a dynamic framework for practical communication. He focused on strategies for real-world interactions, making his learning highly applicable. He learned the art of asking clarifying questions, ensuring mutual understanding. "Could you rephrase that?" or "What do you mean by?" became invaluable tools for navigating complex discussions, preventing miscommunications effectively and gracefully. Paraphrasing became another powerful technique. When unsure of a specific word, he learned to express the same idea using different vocabulary, maintaining the flow of conversation. This adaptability was crucial for overcoming momentary linguistic roadblocks. Maintaining a natural conversational flow became increasingly important. He practiced linking words, using common discourse markers, and pausing appropriately. This made his speech sound less robotic and more akin to native speaker patterns, fostering genuine connection. He understood that, how to learn words was not a finite task but an ongoing, lifelong journey. Language is a living entity, constantly evolving, adding new expressions and shedding old ones. This continuous learning mindset was liberating. He made it a personal habit to regularly review his existing vocabulary, ensuring active recall. He also actively sought out new expressions from books, media, and conversations, expanding his linguistic toolkit consistently and deliberately. This proactive approach kept his English fresh and versatile. He wasn't just retaining old words, he was constantly acquiring new ones, ensuring his ability to express himself accurately across a wide range of topics and situations. The initial question of why you should practice speaking transformed into an eager desire. He actively sought out opportunities, from volunteering in English-speaking environments to planning international travel. Practice became a joyful pursuit. Every real-life interaction solidified his learning. Ordering coffee, asking for directions, making new friends, these authentic experiences cemented his theoretical knowledge into practical, instinctive ability. English ceased being a study subject, it became a tool for life. How to talk in English was no longer a conscious effort but an intuitive act. Thoughts formed directly in English, arguments flowed naturally, and humor came effortlessly. He was thinking, dreaming, and living in English with newfound ease. He found himself engaging in deep, meaningful conversations, sharing his opinions, and even debating complex topics. The world, once limited by language, had opened up, revealing countless possibilities for connection, collaboration, and personal growth. His journey reaffirmed that Listen English was truly the gateway. It had calibrated his ears, trained his brain to recognize patterns, and provided the invaluable input necessary for accurate pronunciation and rhythmic speech. It was the crucial first step. It laid the indispensable groundwork, allowing him to absorb the melody, the intonation, and the subtle nuances that make English sound natural. Without dedicated listening, his speaking would forever lack authentic flair. How to take first step for talking indeed proved the most challenging, yet ultimately the most rewarding leap. It was the crucial moment he transitioned from a passive observer to an active participant, transforming his entire learning trajectory. That first hesitant word, that first broken sentence, unlocked immense potential. It broke the spell of silence and propelled him forward into a world of interaction, proving that courage, however small, yields significant results. Listen and practice remained his unwavering core principle. This continuous feedback loop, constantly refining his output based on fresh input, ensured consistent and remarkable improvement. It was the engine driving his linguistic evolution tirelessly. He understood that improvement wasn't a destination but an ongoing cycle of listening, attempting, assessing, and refining. This iterative process was the secret to his remarkable progress, building fluency brick by painstaking brick. English story reading continued to be a wellspring of knowledge and pleasure. It provided cultural context, expanded his idiomatic understanding, and deepened his appreciation for the language's rich literary heritage, keeping learning vibrant and engaging. The stories were more than just words, they were windows into different worlds, different perspectives. They fostered empathy and broadened his worldview, demonstrating the profound power of language to connect and enlighten. Finally, how to learn English became not just a question he answered, but a testament to his perseverance. Leo, once a hesitant observer, now spoke with joyful confidence, a true global communicator. His journey was a beacon,